Just spent this morning sorting through all these different trays that we've got. We've got loads of trays for all different sizes that we use through year to start in one, move on to another. And at this time of year, we like to use these ones because we can get more plants in a smaller area. Then we'll move them on to something like this, slightly bigger. But at the moment, because it's autumn in UK, or fall if you live over at pond, we're concentrating on the cold hardy plants. Because we're not going to stop trying to grow things through autumn and winter. We're just going to accommodate those plants to help them as much as possible to try and get a bit of an harvest out of it. And we have got quite a lot of things growing already. But what I'm going to be looking at doing today is some broccoli. Because there's two things that we grow through season that never seem to work out very well. And that's cauliflowers and broccoli. And it's because the UK temperature is so unpredictable. It can go from an average temperature of about 60 degrees up to about 80 in just a day or so. And unfortunately, once it gets above 70, broccoli bolts. Cauliflowers will split open and then they're no longer any good. So this year we're concentrating mainly on those type of plants during autumn, because the cold hardy plants, the frost hardy plants, but we're going to provide a slightly warmer environment than trying to grow them outside by insulating this greenhouse and then insulating the pots when we need to, just in case it drops down to below freezing. And you can grow one broccoli plant in a container this size quite easily. Or we could use something a little bigger like this. And using something this size, we would be able to put 3 plants in there and they'll grow quite happily together. And we're also going to sow 2 different types as well. We've got the regular green sprouting one and then we've got some purple sprouting as well. So we'll sow seeds of both varieties and then we'll move them into containers at a later date to grow on. But what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sow 6 of each of those varieties and I'm going to put them in these slightly bigger containers, because once they germinate we want them to grow as quick as possible, and if we can do that without moving them more than maybe once, that's going to be even better. So we'll just fill these 2 up with some fresh compost. Something that's always worth remembering with your brassicas is that they don't like loose soil to grow in. They like nice, firmly compacted soil, so the roots can really grab hold. So once you've filled these packs, you want to compact it down. Then we'll just fill them back up. But at least now we know we've got a good stable base. The only other thing we really need to do with this is just make that indentation in centre. Try not to go too deep though, about your fingernails depth. Brassica seeds are really small, so we don't want to bury them too deep, especially at this time of year. Obviously, you can do this and then take these packs indoors where it's warmer to help them germinate quicker. Which, as we get farther into autumn, that's what we're going to be doing. So, same as any other brassica seed, very tiny. And that's why we're just going to drop 2 in each cell. In fact, just to be on the safe side, I want to pop 3 in. We might as well pop an extra seed in just to give ourselves an extra chance of getting germination. And then the usual light covering. Then it's just a quick water, and we'll pop a label in as well, because we're doing 2 different varieties. And then we'll do that green calabrese. These seeds aren't fresh bought like the ones we've just used. These are getting on for a year old, so we'll definitely be putting 3 or 4 in each cell on this one. We'll get those labels in. That's those 2 set up. Then, just as an extra protection, I'm going to pop them into a tray and stick a propagated lid on top. Because obviously at this time of year, food becomes a little bit more scarce for any animals that's about, especially mice. So any trays that are open, they're going to dig into it to try and get the seeds, which is then costing us time, which we haven't got at this time of year. So it's always best to pop them in something like that, and then you can just pop them to one side and wait till they germinate. So that says autumn, winter, broccoli set up, green sprouting and purple sprouting. And we've got a couple of containers over there, which was those mini grow domes. We only set those up about 2 days ago, something like that. And we used decent sized pots and then cut the bottoms off of 2 litre bottles to use as like a mini greenhouse effect for them. And we've got a bit of progress in only a couple of days. I'll show you. So these are those pots that we did. And this one, if we take the top off, you can see that we've got a few seedlings coming through. Although it does appear that because there's so many seedlings in here, they're all trying to push through, lifting that compost up around them. So we'll have to just gently break that up a little bit to allow these seedlings to come through. But we did multi-sow this one. So at that, they've got a lot better chance now. Nothing yet in this one, but that could have been the pot with the really old seeds in. Let's try another one. We have got the same thing happening here as well. You can see there's a lot of seedlings trying to break through, but they've been restricted because we've planted them so densely. Again, they're trying to lift up the old soil. So, no problem, we'll just break that up to accommodate these seedlings, and then we can just leave those again to grow on. Same on this one. And this. Looks like they're all doing the same sort of thing, but the good thing is they are all germinating. So those domes that we made quite recently, virtually everyone's germinating, but they're germinating at such a level that they're lifting all that soil up in one clump because the seeds have been so densely planted. But it's not a problem if we just ease the soil away, and those seedlings will push through on their own. But we've got a very good degree of success in those little plastic domes that we made. And all we've done is provided them with that extra lid, which was made from the bottom of an old pop bottle. So even at this time of year when temperatures are that little bit cooler, it does show you that seeds will germinate, given that little bit of extra help. So we'll see how these get on in another week or so. Meanwhile, the broccoli's planted. We just need to wait for that to germinate. And we've got quite a few other bits and bobs going off in this greenhouse. And everything seems to be doing really well. But we have still got more seeds that we are going to be sowing. And if you want to see what they are, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell. We'll see you next time. You all take care. Thank you very much for watching.